Afternoon, good evening, everyone. I am incredibly excited. I have Stu. You may know him as Kohlcardz.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Stu's from Michigan. So's my wife. We were just talking about the good old Wolverines living up in Michigan. How you're in Grand Rapids area, correct?
Right. Yep. Grand Rapids.
Very nice, very nice. I'm extremely excited to have Kohlcardz. When I first started buying on Whatnot, Kohlcardz and it was Seahawk 33. Those were the two shows that I would not miss. There are a couple things that make Kohlcardz very special. A, he runs amazing cards. Like every single card that he ran, I absolutely love. So we had the same kind of taste in cards. He never screamed at you.
That's
And
true.
I love the way he just orchestrated. He was very well organized. He was very knowledgeable of his cards. He was also very knowledgeable of pop reports. He was knowledgeable of what the last card sold for. And that was the kind of stuff that made me better when I moved over to selling. So thank you, Cole. You've been incredibly influential in my, I don't want to say success, but my journey here at Whatnot. So thank you. I'm so excited that you're here.
Hey, I appreciate you having me on. And sorry about I had to postpone a couple times, little illness and stuff going on. But yeah, it's great to see how well you've done because I definitely remember you really early. You came over with Lucky when he raided me, is really what it was. Thinking back, because he used
Yep.
to raid me a lot. I still call him Seahawk, by the way, because I just can't get that. Because that's how I knew him. He was one of
Yeah.
my OGs in my chat. And then when
Mhm.
he would stream on, Saturday, Sunday morning, whatever it was at that point, because that was, a year and a half ago, he would come over raid. And I remember you coming in and you just bought so many cards. I'm like, who's this Joel guy? Like he's buying all my Jaden Daniels. He's buying like all these
Yeah.
really nice cards. And I
Yeah.
remember reaching out to you. I was like, Joel, you got to start streaming, man. Because I was
You
like, you have
did.
really good taste. I was like, you know the cards to buy. So it's like, you got to start selling those things.
Yeah, well, thank you for that remember. So I remember when I first thought about selling, I actually reached out to Stu and he gave me some great advice and helped me out. So you guys can blame him. That's why I'm around.
That's
So
exactly. Yeah. Blame
thanks a
me.
lot, Stu. So Stu's Michigan, a son and a daughter. You've been collecting your almost your whole life. Your dad used to take you to card shows, correct?
Right. Yep. Yeah. But a long time ago, that was baseball stuff. I did take a long, long break. I mean, there was a huge, probably at least 20-year break in my collecting just because I wasn't as interested anymore once I got to high school. You
Yeah.
get busy. The cards weren't really nice back then. We're talking late 90s, still kind of in that rough era as far as, buying stuff that actually might go up in value. Obviously,
Sure.
late 90s is kind of where it kind of took off a little bit because you start thinking about the Kobe's and different big players that came out.
Mhm.
But I just kind of lost interest. My son got me back into it. He's 12 years old, big sports fan. He started buying packs of cards, and that kind of got me back into seeing them. And just that excitement of opening a pack of cards, especially seeing your son do it, kind of changes things. But then it was funny. I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking, but I only found out about Whatnot from watching people open packs on YouTube. My son and I just watched
Yeah.
people rip packs, and this guy, he would rip them, and he'd say, "Any of the big hits, we're going to run on Whatnot." And I was like, "What is he talking about? What is
Yeah.
Whatnot?" And eventually I looked it up, and my son and I just started watching auctions for hours. We'd come home from work, him from school, and we
Yeah.
just lay in bed and just watch all. We weren't even buying anything. We're just like, "Wow, look at all these cards," and this all was really cool. So kind of a funny story I forgot to mention, but that's how I got into Whatnot was just someone's YouTube video. Hey, we're selling on Whatnot. And I was like, oh, okay, let's go check that out.
I love that you share that, Stu, because I mean, I can 100% relate. It was the same thing for me, and I think a lot of you people that are at home watching this can probably relate as well. It starts on YouTube, we're just watching people watching grown men rip packs, and for some odd reason that was entertaining. I think what's cool about being a little older and getting back into the hobby, Stu, is that you can actually afford to buy cards. When you're
That's
a kid,
true.
you had allowances. You only had a buck to try to get as many cards as possible. Now you can actually afford it, and I think that's kind of a cool thing and why we love getting back in the hobby again. So it is January 29th. We have the Super Bowl in less than 10 days. Let's talk Super Bowl.
Let's do it.
Seahawks, Patriots. Did you predict that? Are you surprised?
No, I probably would have predicted something similar to that. I mean, I think the Rams, you probably could have made
Yeah.
predictions for them just because of the offense and the way they played all year. But really, the Seahawks, my big thing for the Seahawks is their coach, Mike McDonald. He was at Michigan, defensive coordinator. So I have a little bit of, appreciation for him as a coach. I
Sure.
think Jim Harbaugh's son's on staff too, Jay Harbaugh. So I always
Oh,
knew like they're a well coached football team. Like that is not something that surprised me at all. how good they are. They got the veteran quarterback, so definitely not surprised with the Seahawks. Patriots, I mean, obviously the Drake May hype's there, and Travion Henderson's really big, but I am a little bit of surprise. I mean, I know their coach; he's a solid coach. I mean, he was with the Titans right before, and they let him go. The coach of the Patriots,
Yes. Yep.
that's
Yep.
Vrabel, right?
Vrabel.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, so I was like, I know he's a legit coach, obviously, and he was down at Ohio State for a little bit too. So familiar with him. So not surprised with either teams, and can't say that there was any real upsets, really, in my opinion. Really looking at it, I'm
No,
not
not really.
shocked. With the Broncos losing Bo Nix, I think that kind of obviously pushed that in the Patriots' favor because, sorry, their backup quarterback's not Bo Nix, so.
No, Jared
Didn't have
Stidham. Who I
much.
I just got a bunch of Stidham rookie cards today. I'm like,
There you
thanks. Great timing on these.
go.
I think, and I don't think this is a courageous ticket at all. If Bo Nix played, I think they win. I think it was an
Yeah, no,
ugly
I think
game.
that's true. Yep.
Stidham couldn't do anything after the first quarter, and a lot of people are dogging on the Patriots. Listen, I don't care about strength of schedule. It's hard to win in the NFL, and they
Yep.
did it early and often. They beat three of the top five defenses and they did not. Drake May does not have a lot of weapons. You have Stephon
Right.
Diggs.
Yep.
Travion had a good rookie season. I think Ramondre was underrated, but I like the scrappiness of the Patriots. I mean, my prediction is Seahawks. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout, but I think they're gonna win by about 10-14. How about
That's
you?
my prediction too. I think Seahawks. I think most people are probably picking the Seahawks, and that's not
Yeah.
necessarily who I want to win. I will say there's definitely a soft spot for the Patriots with Tom Brady's original team, Michigan guy. So I always did root for the Patriots. When I was younger, just because of the Tom
Yep.
Brady. Because we started going to Michigan games right at the end of Tom Brady's career at Michigan, pretty much when I went. So I saw Brady play at Michigan. So I always liked the Patriots a little bit. So if I was to root for a team, as far as just a team that I've liked for a while, be Patriots, but also with the Seahawks and the Michigan connection. I don't really care who wins, but I do think it'll be the Seahawks at the end of the day.
I agree. I just looked up. Unfortunately, Tom Brady is not announcing the Super Bowl. Could you imagine?
No, who
It's
is? I don't know.
it looks like it's Tirico and Collinsworth this year because it's
Oh, okay.
NBC.
No, that's solid.
That's good enough. People dog Collinsworth. I think he's fantastic. Anyway, not here to talk about Chris Collinsworth. So let's take our love for football and bring it back to the hobby. So,
Let's do it.
tell me about your very first stream, Stu.
My first stream. So we're going back into June 2024. The funny part too is I never intended to stream. I used to sell on eBay, and that's about it, just for fun. It was kind of just a hobby when I first got into it. And I don't know if Whatnot's the same way, but you had to apply to sell on Whatnot back in the day. I don't know if that's still the case. And you had to
Not really.
you had to watch a little video and stuff and be part of a chat kind of where they kind of taught you stuff. And I wasn't interested in that. I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to stream or do anything like that. But then I got an email from Whatnot like saying, hey, you don't have to apply. You can just sign up and you can watch, come join one of these chats and then start selling. And my son got super excited. So I'm like, okay, let's give it a go.
Yeah.
I signed in, watched the little video, the little, orientation, whatever you want to call it. And then probably a week later, I was like, okay, let's give it a go. Now I had watched a lot of Whatnot at that point. So I did have a lot of ideas as far as what to do and what not to do. And I will say my first stream went a lot better than I think most people's did. Not saying it was fantastic, definitely not. Well, I do remember one of the cool things back then is when you first signed up for Whatnot, they gave me like $150 that I could use on Whatnot.
To promote?
I decided to use that to promote my stream.
Yeah, I remember that.
I
Yeah.
used it all. And I ended up having over 20 people for most of the stream, which for your first stream and not
Crazy.
knowing a ton of people was pretty good. Because I do remember people coming into the chat. And of course, when it's your first stream, you let people know that, like, hey, have some patience. This is my first time. I remember people being shocked, like, how did you get this many people in there?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess the promoting tool works okay. I had a very small back wall, maybe 5 cards, possibly. We're not talking huge cards by any means either. We're talking maybe 25, $30 tops, but just something nice. My goal was to run liquid stuff, but stuff that was like less than $10 because I had seen enough streams where people, cards are going up and the timer runs out, no bids. And that was like my biggest fear. was
Yeah.
getting in, putting up cards, and seeing that timer go to zero, no bids. And it's really uncomfortable because it does happen to everyone. So if you are going to
It still
stream,
happens to me.
yeah,
I just, Stu, I just did a show the other day, and my very first card I ran was a Drake May, and nobody bid on it.
no way.
I was like, guys, that was the most deflating feeling ever. Thanks a lot, but it still happens.
It is a weird sinking feeling in my stomach, like, oh my gosh, like what happened? My story was similar recently. I had a Jameer Gibbs purple shock, optic purple shock.
Yeah,
Ran through, no one bid, and I was like, what in the world? Because I still know those sell pretty decent. I mean, they're not
yeah, yeah,
huge, but they're like probably $8-10. And everyone's like, then I noticed the whole chat's like, run it again, run it again. So,
yeah.
sometimes you have a chat that's kind of fallen asleep. But the first stream was okay. I mean, it was nothing to write home about. I was
Right.
happy. I sold some cards. Like I said, I didn't have anything big. So I didn't have super high expectations like I was going to be selling. Because I've been in enough shows. I've seen like those big streamers at that point selling stuff for hundreds of dollars. I
Of
knew that
course.
wasn't the reality. I always kept a level head knowing I'm going to have to work my way to getting a following. And I was very logical about it. I just knew that.
Yeah,
So it's really about your perspective. You have to go in with the right perspective and know you're probably not going to go in and kill it unless a couple of things. You know someone who's like going to raid you. And, it's like a huge streamer, which, most of us don't have that.
right.
Or if you just get insanely lucky, or if you just want to lose a lot of money really fast. Because I've seen people go that route where they decide, hey, we're going to do some awesome giveaways. We're going to give away $20, $30, slabs and get people in here. And then we're going to run heat the entire stream. And I've seen so many people flame out because
Yeah,
eventually they just disappear. Because I'm in there and I'm like, these cards are going way too cheap. So, I just kept a level head and made sure I knew that I'm probably not going to kill it on the first stream. I just
sure.
want to sell cards. I just want to get my feet wet and just
Yep.
get a feel for what it was like more than anything.
I love that. So you've been streaming for almost 2 years, by the way. It's almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell me, Stu, what is your number one favorite thing that you love about streaming?
I mean, for me right now, it's always just having my kids, do a little bit with me too. Because if you've
Yeah,
been in my streams, they don't do a ton. Like some streams do have the kids way more involved, like running stuff. My kids, it's more, I want them to understand what it means to save money, to earn some money, and then
mhm,
just have that ability to save part of it. Because I feel like it's so easy as a young kid when you get money, whatever it is, 20, 30, $50, to spend it right away.
for sure.
I love that my kids, when they make money, I've taught them use some of that money to go buy something fun for yourself. Well, let's take, a good chunk of that and reinvest. Let's go buy some more cards,
Hmm.
to go sell. And that's really the big thing for me is the family time and doing that with my son, especially with my daughter. You know how it is with kids. They see the one kid kind of doing something, they want to do it too. So my
I
daughter will
do it
come
now.
down and sell. So that's
Yeah,
really cool for
I was
me.
able to. I had the honor of sitting down with Jay Swizzle and his dad, Papa Swizz, and it's just kind of a cool thing. I think I don't get how old he was, like 16 or 17, but think how many lessons he's learning just from like running a business, marketing,
Mhm.
customer service, like all those amazing things that typically you don't learn when you're 16 to 17 or 18. So I thought that was a really
Absolutely.
cool thing too. I'm getting Lucy into cards. I bought a bunch of K-pop Demon Hunter cards.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And you should see her face when she opens up the pack. So I'm working it. We'll see what happens. One of the nice things that we talked about a little bit off camera is procurement strategy. That's always everyone's number one challenge. Typically, even in this podcast, the popular answer is I go to shows. You and I don't go to shows. We have young kids,
We don't.
we just don't have time for it. So we are forced to gain our inventory via the internet, whatnot, eBay. And so one of the cool things that Stu does is he spends a lot of time on Whatnot and he actually procures a lot of his inventory on Whatnot. So can you tell us a little about your procurement strategy on Whatnot?
I mean, my big thing that I've gotten to the point of doing originally, it was just finding streams that had liquid cards that I knew would sell. Because, if you're in streams enough, you kind of see what sells and what doesn't. And I was able to do that pretty quickly, kind of figure out what people were looking at. And I had to learn the hobby like from scratch, essentially, a year and a half ago. I mean, I was back down at the very bottom level of learning all these different cards, parallels,
Oh
case
yeah.
hits, all this stuff. So a big part of it was just watching streams, watching them all the time, learning the cards, talking to people, asking questions, not being shy, to come out and say that you don't know something, which I love too, because people come in my stream and I get to kind of pay that back to people too.
Yep.
I'll have people ask, like, what do you mean when you say it's only pop one? And you can explain to them that,
Sure.
for this PSA 10, this is the only PSA 10 of this card. Like, there's no other one, of that. So it's fun to teach people in that. So just learning the cards has helped me get the cards I want. And one thing I was telling you off camera too was I go in big streams because I'm at the point now where I'm trying to sell, higher value cards. And
Mhm.
really the easiest way where you're going to get those from, week in and week out, you have to go to some of those streams with 200, 300, even up to 1,000 people in them to get some of the cards that I want from my back wall. I know my customers, the people that consistently come to me, have an expectation that I'm the one who built that expectation, obviously, but
Yeah.
to have really nice cards on that back wall. So I'll go to these big streams, and you just have to be patient. If you learn the cards really well, you can get some really, really good deals, even with a stream with 1,000 people sitting in it, because you're just watching, waiting for that card that the comp on it, and no one else does. Because a lot of those big streams run on 10-second sudden death, sometimes 5, or even 15. I can tell when people are comping cards. If I already know the comp, I don't need to go check it out. So one of my things I do is when I'm watching a stream, if there's a card I don't know, even if I don't buy it, because sometimes there's just not enough time to comp it, and I know I'm not going to buy this, I'm going to go comp it anyway, because that card might come up, in the next stream I'm at. It might be the next day, it might be the next week. And then some of these players, if it's not Drake May, if it's someone who's more established, it's Josh Allen, it's Jalen Hurts, these guys who've been in the league for a long time, those values don't go down and up near as much as some of these rookies do. Obviously these rookies you're really watching, and these young guys seeing how they're doing from week to week, and
Yeah.
those can be risky. You obviously Drake May's an easy buy right now. I mean, pretty easy buy. I mean, after the Super Bowl, you might see a little bit of a dip, but I think even making the Super Bowl, that kind of solidifies him as he's going to be a buy all summer, in my opinion. So it's
Yeah,
really
my
no
my
first
my
comp.
friend calls them it's the stock and bonds game, right? The
Yeah, it
rookies are the
is.
stocks, the Josh Allens are the bonds, like safe under the
Right.
current. No matter what they
Smart.
do, they're always going to hold value, but they're never going to necessarily peak, but they're always going to be a safe bond. Stocks, Drake May, Bo Nix, right? All the Caleb Williams. Um,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
Caleb's gone up a lot because Caleb, I was a big buyer on Caleb. I'm a Bears fan, so I was always a buyer anyway. Even though I don't PC a lot, I really don't. I like to say that too. I almost feel like I'm renting the cards. I love having cool cards, and there's
yeah.
definitely cards I'll keep for a month, maybe 2 months. Most of the cards I get, I just have it. I like it. Like, oh, that's really cool. Sell it. On to the next one. Because my favorite thing is just going out in the hunt. I love the hunt, looking for stuff. Like that is my thing that I love. And I love getting good deals. And I love giving people cards, finding cards for people that really want them. Like there's no better feeling than having someone come to your stream and then maybe later message you like, I can't believe, like, thank you for having that card. I'm so glad you had that. I'm like, hey, no problem. Because I mean, we do spend time. That we spend a lot of
Oh
our
yeah.
time, finding these cards, and it is nice. Not that we expect it, but when you do have someone that reaches out and it says it like it meant something to them, like that's a really cool feeling when that
It's a
happens.
great connection, and I like what you said back there, Sue. Like when you're a streamer, you can't really have a PC because you sell. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like so I have two behind me. I've got some cheaper Jordans. I got Jackson Churio over here because he's my favorite, and I'll never sell Churio. And honestly, Churio won't do well anyway. So though that's my PC, but anything else, I'm selling. But it is exciting to like buy it, hold it for a couple weeks, and then sell it and pass it on to somebody else and see their excitement, isn't it?
Well, yeah, and someone's going to appreciate it a lot more too because my PC is so small and limited anyway. Like I like Michigan football players, so I mean, a lot of the cards I collect are Michigan guys in Michigan uniforms. There's not a huge market for that. When you look at sports cards, people don't care for college stuff. Luckily for my PC, I do, so I can
Yeah.
get the stuff I like for cheap and not really have to worry about spending big bucks. But I still get some really cool players, even players that don't even play in the NFL. It's a guy I went and saw play games. I'm like, oh, I want to have that guy's autograph. That's cool. So,
Can we agree that the Tom Brady Michigan rookie cards are god awful?
as far if you're a collector, you mean?
Yeah.
I
Just the
mean,
helmet and like it's the
for the
red.
average collector, yeah. For a Michigan fan, I think I would love that. But yeah, for the average collector, you want to get the Patriot stuff for sure. I agree 100% on that,
I
definitely.
mean, they still sell really well. I just think they're ugly.
I mean, I don't love anything that doesn't have like the logos on it, honestly. Like anything
Yeah.
that's no logo. And one of the things a lot of those companies have to do with the Michigan is they have to change the helmet too. Some of those companies like Wildcard, not
Yep.
only can they not have like obviously the logos on the jersey, they have to change Michigan's helmet by like making it
And then
yellow
it just
or
looks weird
blue.
because
It
it's
doesn't
such
look
an
right at
iconic
all.
helmet. It's such an iconic helmet. So
It
for them to
is.
have to like, yeah, it's weird. And so it's interesting time in the hobby, as you all know. Like Topps has all the licensing moving forward, but they will never have a licensed Drake May JD5 autograph card. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
I'm really interested to see because I heard they're releasing in April this year licensed Drake May and JD5 autograph cards. And
How
I think
crazy do
there's
you
going to be a
think
lot
those
of
are going to
hype
be?
behind it. There's going to be a lot of hype behind it, but
Yeah.
sadly, they're not the rookie. It kind of like they had the same issue with Wemby, right? And so
Yep. Yep.
I'll be interested to see the hype behind those autographs. It will be very interesting to watch. So you've been streaming since June of 2024, Stu. Look back and like talk to your old self. Like what would be the number one piece of advice that you'd give to a brand new streamer right now?
Oh, for a brand new streamer, and luckily I've always done this because I don't want to like call myself out like I didn't do this, but I think the number one thing is just don't chase your sales. You need to chase the trust of your buyers. Too
Mm,
many people are so obsessed with selling every card that they don't care about the condition of the cards. And to
mm,
me, I think that's a killer for any streamer. I know from my experience, I will not go to some people's streams because I've been burned too many times.
right.
Cards with damage, very obvious damage. There's a difference between something that you hold in the perfect light and you see, and something that you get, and before, like right when you take it out, you can see it, and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is, kind of
Sucks.
crazy.
It
I think
sucks as
that's
a yeah.
it does, yeah. We've all been burned as buyers, and the reason I think that's so important as a seller is we've all been there as a buyer, and like, how does that make you feel as a buyer? And I never want to make someone feel that way. So, and that's more my advice for all the sellers out there because I think a majority, especially of the big time sellers, they don't look at their cards very much because some of the ones that I've been burned by the most are these people that have thousands of cards that they're selling every week and they're going through super fast. And it's very frustrating because, you spend good money on it and obviously you get your money back. But I mean, that's not the point. It's more, I
Yeah.
really wanted this card. Like, this is something that I wanted to have and then
Yep.
eventually sell too. But I just think the integrity needs to come up a lot. And I hope to see a lot more people that join really take the time to look over their inventory. If there is damage, show it. Like, I think that's a great time to build trust with your buyer.
Yep.
Is
I would agree.
if you sell a damaged card, that's great, but just show it. Like, put it up there, show them exactly where the damage is. Here's the damage, and then sell the card. And then your buyers are going to see that. And I've had more compliments in my stream from that. And I'm like, that's what we should be doing. Like, that shouldn't be something that people are like, wow, this guy has integrity. Like, that is the thing to me that just needs to change on the platform overall is integrity. You need to have it.
That's a great point, and we've all, you already talked about this, but like we've all bought $100 plus cards only to get it and find a major scratch or a print or a busted corner. And it's like you got to be careful with some of these streamers who sell so many because they don't have the time and sometimes they just don't want to inspect. People make mistakes. So one thing that I started doing anytime I sell anything over $50 comps, I pop the top. I
Right.
think
Yep.
I will always pop the top on cards over $50 because I think that's fair. And I want them to see if there's any dimples or anything like that, or if it's clean, regardless. I want them to be able to
Mhm.
see because it's super, these sudden deaths where people are like bidding $800 on a downtown where they literally can only look at it for 1 second. You have no idea what you just bought. And it turns out corners dinged, major scratch on the back. You know what
It's
I mean? Like,
almost always on the back. They show the front, looks beautiful, and then you look at the back, you're like, what in the world? Like, what did they do?
and listen, And listen, I'm not perfect. I just had someone come up and I just sold a Garrett Wilson rookie ticket on Card Auto. And he said, there's a major crease on the right side. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that. He mailed it back. I gave a full refund. So like things do slip through the cracks. We're not perfect, right?
Absolutely. And I do want to say that we are human. I've made mistakes, but mine are very few and far between. I can promise you that. And yeah, popping, I do like when people open. I will say to me, that gets my anxiety up a little bit because especially when I
Because it's
see,
exposed.
oh, well, the people with downtowns, how thin they are, and they're like holding it up and it starts sliding down. I'm like, oh, like if that
I
falls,
know.
one
And then
quarter,
they put their fat thumb on it, and you're like, I'm okay with
yes.
you doing that, but I also hate the fact that you're touching the card.
In
But yeah, it's
downtowns, you can see a fingerprint very easily on a downtown.
easily,
But
easily. Yeah,
yeah,
I
that's the
don't know.
number
Like
one thing I
we're going
think.
on a tangent, but I
We
just don't.
are.
I don't like selling downtowns. I don't. I feel like there's no profit in it because you got to buy it at 85 to 95%, and then the whatnot fees. Like anytime I get a good deal on a downtown, I'll typically sell it to one of my streaming friends because
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
how
my
I'll
big
actually.
thing, my downtown is just when I have them, which I have a couple. I'm streaming on Saturday. I just have them to bring people in. I know probably most of the time I'm going to lose,
Agreed.
and that's fine. But I know people love them, and they're going to be on my back wall for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, even if you get a really good deal in a downtown, you have a really hard time because when you look at the tax that you're paying on top of it when you buy one, and then you look at the fee you pay when you sell it, like it's almost impossible to make good money on a downtown. Like it's probably you're probably right. It's probably the worst card to buy if you're like trying to make money on it. Like I said, you also need some, you know, those beautiful cards that people just want to come in and eventually buy. And I
You
always have
really
some.
do.
So, you know,
Yeah,
I
you really
agree
do.
though. They do stay. I don't like buying them. But if I get a decent deal and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll only use 10 or 15 bucks on it, you know, that might be good enough to bring some people in to come check out my stream. So
It's going to bring people in and it's going to make them stay. And in a
it
sense,
is, yeah.
that's all you want, right? That's all you want.
One of my other pet peeves, and you know I don't do this, don't have a bunch of cards on your back wall that you're not going to sell.
Oh,
Because I can't stand when I go into a stream and I see these beautiful cards. I'm like, oh, this is going to be sweet. And then you ask about it. Oh, those are PC. Or, oh, I have a set price on it. And then you ask the set price and it's like 25% above comps. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work for me. And I'm not saying everyone has to sell expensive cards, but if you're going to put them back there,
yeah.
my opinion, and you know my stream, I sell every single card on the back wall. Like
Yes, you do.
it goes. So it helps though. Like if people know, hey, this guy's gonna sell everything on his back wall at the end of his stream, they're gonna stick around probably. So just some advice for them, just because I've been in enough streams where, you know, I see awesome cards, but they're off limits. Like you're not to buy those, you know. And then they
It's
start
so,
running their kid reporters, and you're just like, okay, yep, I'm not gonna stick around for this.
can you grade a kid reporter, by the way? I've always wanted to know
You know,
that.
I make jokes about that all the time that I just want to do that and have like the pop one kid reporter, you know, at
Can
every
you grade
level.
can you grade a redemption card? I think that'd be so funny.
I don't know. I mean, why not?
Maybe you and I should try it.
I
It's
think we
worth
should.
$25 just to see what happens. But
I
you're
just
right.
want to
And then, so it's
sell
like
kid reporter.
no, people do pop-ups to tease future shows. I get that. Okay. Like, hey, my back wall's
Oh yeah,
running
yeah,
this Saturday. But for them to willingly just put up cards and be like, that's not for sale,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
a really cool move. It pisses off people and then they're gonna leave. And
I'll
so
do a
that's
preview sometimes. Like probably tomorrow, I might pop on for a bit because I had to take a week off because I was sick. So I'm like a week later than usual. So I might do like a quick pop up. Here's what I have, everyone, because you know people know what I sell, and they
yeah.
usually, you know, I have a decent amount of bookmarks. They know when I sell stuff, but it is nice to pop on and just say, "Here's all my stuff." You can kind of go through everything. Because when I stream, like on Saturday mornings, it's like 5 minute giveaway usually, and then it's let's go, like let's get into it. So you don't have a ton of time to kind of show all the stuff you can't get on camera.
Very true. Very true.
And I'm not
One
very
of the
shy
cool,
about showing what I got.
one of the cool things that Stu and I were talking before we actually hit record is that we both can kind of relate when we're done with the show. We don't have a lot in inventory. And I think as a streamer, sometimes you feel a lot of pressure. Like I need boxes and boxes because you go on other streams and they're showing off all their crap. Oh, I got
Right.
rooms full. And you're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. That's BS. Like when I'm done, I think when you're done, Stu, like I don't have a lot of cards left.
I
And so
literally could not run a stream after my stream.
One,
Not
one
a
of the
good
things
streak.
one of the things that I stole from Stu is that he started running every 2 weeks. And for me, I started doing that. Sure, I do a pop-up every now and then, but my main show is every 2 weeks, just like Stu. And it allows me to do a couple things. I don't have that panic of like, now I got to buy more cards for the next show. And that's exhausting. It's also really expensive. And if you have 2 weeks, you can be really selective with what
Right.
cards that you choose to sell. And then now you're in the driver's seat and you have time to like prep and kind of like get some stats behind that card, or like that's the kind of stuff I can tell you from a quality, like just enjoyment in life. It's changed the way I stream. And so thank you for that, Stu. I'm always like,
Hey, I'd
and
love to
so
take credit for that, but mine was the same philosophy. I was like, it's too much pressure. This is supposed to be fun. This is just something I do. I mean, it really is a hobby. The government might see it as a job, but it's really a hobby, for
yeah.
me. And I'm a full-time teacher. I have other stuff to do. Two kids, a wife, so there's other things going on. And I like you said, I love every 2 weeks. People know when to expect me, which is super important. You should be consistent with when your streams are.
Oh
And
yeah.
every 2 weeks works really well because, like you said, especially up here in Michigan, you get the bad weather. The mail is not coming in. It's a couple days before the stream, and I'm like, oh boy, like I'm not going to have enough cards. But 2 weeks, it gives you time to really plan for it. So it comes in the middle of the week and gives you plenty of time to kind of know and organize what you're going to have for that week's stream. So yeah, 2 weeks is
And
good.
so, it's a great point right now, as you all know. There's winter all over the country, and so USPS is dragging. And so, I literally told my friends it's January. It's today's Thursday, January 29th. Two
Right.
days ago, I cut myself off because my next show is next Saturday, and I said I'm done buying. I don't need to buy any cards because if I buy a card today, it's not going to get there by the show on next Saturday, most likely. And so again, it puts you in the driver's seat. You don't have to buy every single day. You're not like
Mm-hmm.
panicking to get inventory. I'm not saying it should work for everyone. And like, if you love streaming every day, if you love streaming every week, go ahead and do that. But if you're feeling stressed out and you're losing money because you can't really be strategic and smart, maybe slow it down a little. And you can still do pop-ups, you know?
Yeah. And my
Um,
big thing is I hate shipping. It's like my least favorite thing. I'm a great shipper. I will say that. I ship
you are a
stuff
great shipper.
very securely, very, very securely. Probably one of the best shippers. I don't want to toot my own horn too much.
You've always been one of the great
I buy
shippers.
a lot of stuff and I know how people package stuff. And,
Yeah,
if you buy a nice card for me, you're not only to get a nice little, bubble, package, it's also going to be in a little tiny cardboard box also.
it
So
is.
it's going to be
Yep.
nice and secure for you. So if you spend good money, I expect obviously good packaging. And that's how I treat, the people that come to my stream is if they're going to spend some good money with me, I'm going to, spend a little extra, maybe 50 cents to make sure that their card gets to them safely. So
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
if you've never been on a Kohlcardz show, everything about it is quality, from the setup, his presentation, the cards, the delivery, the shipment, everything is like top notch. So this is me plugging you, dude. Please, if you've never been on a Kohlcardz show, good Lord, get on his show. He's running this Saturday. So, well, actually, this will probably release in a couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
that's fine. So but you run every other Saturday.
Right. So I
And like
probably
what
my
times?
next one after this will be like after the Super Bowl, I imagine,
So it'll be the
whenever.
14th, Valentine's Day.
Yeah, yeah, I think it will
Is that the 14th?
be
Yeah.
maybe. Actually, I might have plans. I might have to do a Sunday that weekend because I think I'm going to a Michigan basketball game. But yeah, pretty much if it's not a Saturday, it'll be a Sunday. I mean, that's just kind of how I do it. So I have to play it by ear.
Okay. Sorry, my Wisconsin Badgers gave you your first loss, by the way.
I know, yeah, that was surprising, but you got
Oh,
that
the
big
wife
guy
wasn't happy. The wife
just
wasn't happy
hitting
with me.
threes all day, man. They were on fire. Those Badgers were on fire, so good for them. I mean, but I think
Yeah,
you got to lose. It's college basketball. You got to lose. It was a good loss. The team has learned from it. We got Michigan State tomorrow night, so we got some big stuff to look forward to here in Michigan. So,
I think that's what's nice about college basketball is you can afford to lose 3 to 5 games and you're going to
oh
be
yeah,
okay. And as long as they're good losses, right?
you can lose more than that and be fine. I mean, you
Yeah.
can lose.
Football, you take a loss, like that could be the playoffs for you. Like,
Right. Even
perfect.
now, though, even in football, you can lose. I mean, the Buckeyes kind of proved that last year. You can lose twice and win the
Yeah.
national championship. That was kind of weird, but it was nice for Michigan beating them last year. It was hilarious because
I,
how can you
I live down.
celebrate a national championship if you lost to Michigan? Like you can't. Good
I
luck
live
with
down
that.
here I live down here in Austin, as you well know. So,
Yep.
not really a UT fan, but I follow them, and their loss to Florida took them out of the playoffs. It's just one
Yeah.
loss, done.
Exactly.
So let's talk about 2026. It's the January. What's your plan this year for Kohlcardz?
I mean, I'm pretty boring. I mean, I feel like I have a good formula that I like. I kind of just stick with what I know. And I think that's the biggest thing. Stick with what you know and you're comfortable with. Football is my number one. I'm always going to buy football cards
I don't
mainly.
think I don't think I've ever seen you. I think maybe you've sold Caitlin Clark,
Yeah.
and I'm obviously wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen you sell non-football outside of Caitlin Clark.
So it really depends. Like Wimbenyama, obviously, I'll do that. I
Sure.
do have an Ant-Man autograph for this weekend, which
Oh,
is hilarious. Rookie auto. I got it. Like I
jeez.
said, one of those big streams with like 500 people in it, just at the right time, and just hit it. And I was like,
Everyone was
you gotta be
sleeping.
kidding me,
Yeah.
you know. Got a really good deal, so I was like, I have that, and I'll do some basketball, more basketball than baseball. Schemes for baseball every once in a while, but football's my bread and butter. It's just sticking with what I know. Obviously, I think the big stuff this year, Drake May still. I mean, that's always the guy we're chasing. Josh Allen's always selling well.
Always.
Hurts does well. The one person I'm always shocked, Aaron Rodgers sells terrible. I hate to say that because I know you're a Packers fan, but I'm like,
I mean, you're not
why
hurting my
is he,
feelings. You're
why
not hurting
is
my.
he such a bad sale? Like, I never understood that. But I have like this, I would say a mental list. I don't keep a list on paper of the guys I buy. And I was watching one of your other podcasts, and you were talking, maybe it was Mr. P, about how some guys, you buy that just don't sell. And you just kind
Yeah.
of get away from them because you're like, why did I buy this? And then you just
Yeah.
you always lose on these guys. And I feel like there's
Always.
a few guys that no matter what, even if they're pretty big players, I just always lose on them. I'm just like, I got to stop buying them and really focus on the guys I do well with, I guess is the big thing. But it's a weird
Well,
game out there.
in a weird way, I don't want to say it's a self-fulfilled prophecy, but if you have the stigma of a player and then you try to sell their card, maybe the audience can hear the
You can
desperation.
feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is JJK Sports, one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite streams. Him and Kay are fantastic. We're messaging back and forth the other day. He cannot sell Drake May, and
Really?
I'm like, that's really weird because everyone else can sell Drake May. Why can't you? And I'm like, I think it's probably because he's not as confident when he sells Drake. It sounds so stupid, but I mean, how else can you explain that? He says he cannot sell Drake May.
That is weird. I always laugh too, looking back at Lucky and how many Drake Mays he shredded.
Yes, it's the best.
And it
Good
makes me
ones
laugh because
too.
I know they weren't big cards, but those could be. I mean, look at like a Josh Allen Donruss now. I mean, think about 6 years from now, a Drake May Donruss base could very well be a pretty valuable card. And he was just shredding them in the paper shredder. Oh, this guy stinks. And all of a sudden, whoop, he takes off. And I just think about all those cards he shredded and sold in little plastic Ziploc bags, whatever
Oh,
he was doing.
I have one over here. I have a one-on-one shredded Drake May, but I guarantee you he doesn't regret it because
Well,
he's
I know.
known for it now. He actually this week he bought a Drake May in in my stream, and
Ooh.
he wanted me to cut it up. I'm like, I'm not gonna freaking cut it
Are
up,
you
Scott.
serious?
Yeah, like that's your thing, okay? I
Yeah,
don't destroy,
definitely.
especially good cards.
You
He
know what?
spent
I
40.
think people get mad because, especially if you're a hobby enthusiast and you see people going in, like cutting cards up, I bet you there's people that like, that
Yeah,
is not what we do. This is the hobby. We take care of it. And I will tell you a funny story. This is way off topic. I
that's all
was
right.
in a stream once and it was all one of ones, right? So that was the stream. It was a big stream. It was all one of
Wow.
ones. And they brought up, I want to say it was a Bucky Irving. It was one of the tops and it was 1 out of 2, right? And they're
Yeah,
like, we said this is a one of one stream, but this one's out of 2. And they're like, just joking. They had the 2 of 2, right?
yeah.
And they ripped it in half on the screen
To
and
make it
put it in their
101.
mouth and chewed it up and then sold the one out
Oh,
of 2 on screen in the stream, not even joking. That was
that
in a
is
stream I was in.
that's so brilliant. So they took they basically took a 2 of 2 series. I made it a 101.
Right. Hey, I've made that joke for at least over a year and a half that I want to buy all of the cards of, just something low numbered, like maybe out of
Yeah,
5, and
yeah.
then on screen just burn them or, burn the other ones. And then 101, you have proof this is the last one. And they did it before I could. They beat me, but it was only out of 2. So a little bit
That's
easier, I guess.
brilliant. And but the problem is like, how do you just there's so much luck involved. Let's say it's there's 5. to be able to hunt down all five,
It
I
would
don't
be
know.
tough. Yeah, it would be
You'd have to
hard.
be super connected with breakers all around the country and be like, hey, if you find this one, send it to me. But
Or just
yeah,
on Whatnot all the time. My favorite thing on Whatnot's like, you're never going to see this card again. I'm like, dude, whoever bought that card is probably going to sell it next week. I'm just going to write their name down. I'll go see that card next week. It's always funny when
uh
people saying that
the
stuff.
yeah the silly things people say, it's yeah, it's kind of crazy. But I wanted to go back to one point, and I love the fact that you and I are very identical, where we procure inventory via the internet. And I think that's incredibly important because if you do it wrong, you're gonna get your ass kicked. You're not
Right.
thinking about the 13%, you're not thinking about the shipping supplies. Like, you have to buy incredibly intelligently or you're gonna lose money. And listen, I spent a year just like, oh, I like that card. I'm gonna buy that for whatever. I want to.
Yeah.
Your ego gets in the way, and all of a sudden, I want to win this auction because I like winning. And then you're not thinking, and then you lose money because you're an idiot. But one thing that I love doing is I get on some of these bigger shows or even a smaller show, and with no intent to buy Stu, and I'll have eBay up on my computer. I'll be like, that's a really nice card. It's overinflated on the stream. I look it up on eBay. I can get it for like $30 less. And
Sure.
then
Yeah. Yeah.
I buy it on eBay. And so, like, there's so many things you can do. So I think the light went off for me. Like, finally, I'm watching streams. I'm like, I don't have to buy this card right now just because it's a ooh ah kind of card. I can look it up, see if I can get a better deal. And if I can't, there's a million other cards out in the ocean. You know what I mean? And so, like, that was the one thing that kind of the light went on for me, and it's made me buy so much more intelligently. I don't know if you saw this. Oh, actually, you're gonna see the stream. I just released a podcast today. It's with Johnny, Sports Card Tax Guy, where I talk about like how I literally every card I get now, I put it on a post-it note and I write exactly to the cent how much money I spent on that card.
Nice. No, that's a good idea for sure.
And so I get my lineup in. I take all the post-it notes out the cards and I add them up. So before the show, Stu, I know the exact amount of money I've invested into this show.
That's smart. Absolutely.
It's
Good for
it's
you.
elementary and it's quite cumbersome, but it's changed the way I buy and sell, and it's awesome. So now I know at the end of the show, I take a look at the whatnot, the gross sales, the net sales, and I say, boom, I made money, or like, oh, I lost money there.
Not
What
so
can I do
good.
differently now? Right? For
Right.
the year before I was like selling, I was just like, I think I'm doing well, but I
Let's
probably
go
wasn't,
for
right?
it. Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not as organized as you. I'll say you are doing a much better job if you're writing down every single card and doing that. But I
it's a
could
pain
be
in
a
the
little bit
ass.
better at that. But I do track how much I spend. And like I said, I sell every card pretty much that comes into my possession. So that's kind of my way of tracking. I know
Yep.
how much went out. I know how much came back in. And basically, my next stream is always based on that fact. Like, how much did I actually sell? How much can I spend this next, couple weeks? And it's all based on the stream. So it keeps you at least in a place where you're not way overspending and making really big mistakes, because you,
Yes.
you know how much you're spending. You just look at your credit card. Oh, boom, there you go. I'm spending that much money. You know how much you're getting in. And then you can kind of be like, okay, I need to dial it down a little bit, or I need to buy smarter, for the next stream.
I think the key takeaway, and so like I don't expect people to use my system. It's annoying, but but you have a system that works. I think if you want to be successful, you need longevity, and if you're losing money, you're not going to be able to continue what you're doing, something that you enjoy doing. You and I both see it. Streamers that were hot 6 months ago, we don't even see them anymore, right? They
Right.
burn out, and so if you're listening, hopefully you're getting some ideas, but like find a way to be sustainable. Crunch the numbers. I know it's not the most funnest thing ever. Funnest is funnest a word, but you got to look at what you're doing, and you don't want to be losing money every single week, every single show, because you're not going to be able to sustain that. That's not
Right. And
fun.
you're going to have bad shows. And that's one thing people, I think, don't
Always.
realize too. You're going to have a bad show. You're going to have a bad month. And it goes with, the season sometimes. I mean, you're going to have amazing streams. I mean, I want to say that some of my best streams I had, even though I have a bigger base of people now that come to my streams, some of my best streams were back when Jaden Daniels was taking off, because I
Oh,
just
that was
happened to
fun.
buy so many of his cards, like right before he went off in the playoffs. And like, it was crazy how much I was making on these cards, that's when I really started, because that was about 6 months in to
Yeah.
my selling. And that's kind of when things turned the corner. I was like, oh, dang, like I'm doing pretty good. Like this isn't that bad. Like I'm making some money in these streams. And and you get good at it though. Like you start finding like Drake May. Like if it wasn't for CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels, I wouldn't have known when to buy Drake May. And now I know, because I look at those markets and what they did. And Drake May is past. And that's the funny thing too. I was thinking about this the other day. Is Drake May, like, is the next person after Drake May going to take off even more? Because if you look back at CJ Stroud, his market was nuts back when I started. Like
T-Law. You go back farther.
Yeah. Or even that. But, Stroud was crazy on whatnot. And then Jaden Daniels was even crazier. And now Drake May is even crazier than that. I'm like, is the next guy going to be super crazy? But then we got cursed with this terrible draft class, and there's really nobody that really, maybe Jackson Dart, we'll see.
But when you think about like what compounded Drake May's popularity, is that the 2025 class sucked in general, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Scatable got hurt. Scat was all the rage. If Scat had an amazing season, he would have been right up there with Drake, and it would have been a little diluted. But literally, as someone in the hobby, we were desperate for someone, and Drake May stepped up. And so we were all like all in on Drake May. Now, I think it's important. I'm going to talk about this later in another podcast. It's like when people zig, you zag. So like right now, it's January 29th, knowing the Drake May hype is going to eventually fall out, even if he wins the Super Bowl. Who is the next player? Is it Mendoza? Mendoza's pretty hot right now. But
he is, yeah.
It's always something that you don't think of. Like, could it be Penix? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always a player you didn't really see coming. So like, that's the beauty of the hobby. JJ McCarthy.
I'm telling you right now, people are giving up on that guy. And me as a Michigan fan, I know his mentality. He's going to use that. And I bet you anything, with all the negativity about him, now is the time to start loading up on some JJ. And I would not doubt that. I mean, maybe not Drake May it, but I mean, if he even has a decent season, I mean, if you look at his cards now compared to where they were 3-4 months ago, I mean, they're down a lot. So I think
it's a great time to buy. And I've already said this. And people have already invested in JJ. So like, they're not willing to like just move on. If JJ comes in hot, guess what? People are gonna be like, yes, he's back. I have all these cards already. And like, yeah, so I think right now is a great time to buy JJ. I have no doubt about it. I brought up Penix. I'm not so sold on Penix, but JJ.
His injuries scare me. His knees scare me. Because he got hurt a lot and he hurt his knee again. So I do have a really nice Penix booklet coming in, but I got a good deal on it. So.
I mean, he was all the rage for a while. His autographs were north of 100 easily now. I mean, Penix is a good buy if you feel that way. Atlanta has a new coach coming in. Yep, new coach.
I think Bo Nix is undervalued still.
Here's the thing about Bo Nix. When you think of the quality of just consistent work, no one has been a better 2024 quarterback than Bo Nix.
Right.
2 seasons, 2 playoffs, consistent. He got better this year. I mean, he was showing some really great signs before, unfortunately, he got hurt. And they could have easily been in the Super Bowl. No doubt about it.
He's got a great coach, too. He's a good coach who's good at quarterback. So,
it's a winning organization, great defense. So I think Bo Nix, while he's kind of stagnant, great buy this offseason. So, well, Kuman, one thing I want to do with you, I think you'd be a great addition to the roundtable. So you're not done with Joel-ATX, by the way.
Okay.
You're going to be in a future roundtable where you and a bunch of other hooligans, we just hang around and talk sports cards and sports. Does that sound good?
I love it. Oh, it's a lot of fun, man. I had a good time. I probably talked too much, but I enjoyed it.
It's good.
I don't get to talk with a ton of people about this stuff, My dad a little bit. He likes whatnot, he gets like 1960s Detroit Tigers and stuff, but I don't really know a lot of people personally that are into this stuff. So it was just nice to kind of talk about all the stuff we see and the stuff we've dealt with and how to become a streamer. So, hey, look at that, Alan Trammell. That's awesome.
What a beautiful autograph, by the way.
That is a nice autograph. They don't sign it like that anymore. That's for sure.
Oh, I mean, that's quality. And he does hundreds of these, but nope, perfect auto. Anyway, my father-in-law is he went to all the games back in the day. Sure. So he can talk Detroit Tigers all day. But let's wrap it up. Dude, what a pleasure. This was so much fun. I expected to go 20 minutes. I think we went in almost an hour. That's the way it should be.
Definitely my fault. I talk too much, but I enjoy it.
It's a podcast. Talking is good.
We could have gone longer. I have more to share, so maybe we'll have to pick up on some stuff later because I I do want to help other people become streamers and just know, because you and I didn't have this. Like we didn't have. I looked at YouTube all over for help on whatnot, and I couldn't find anything. So
agreed. That's why I did this.
I hope they come across your channel and check out what other people have to say. And I definitely wouldn't mind coming back at some point too, just sharing more knowledge as I learn more too about whatnot and what they can do. So I appreciate.
That's a hard yes, man. That's a hard yes. I appreciate it. And again, like, I can't thank you enough. You're the reason. You and Scott were the reasons I'm here. And like, keep doing what you're doing. If you, for some odd reason, if you're watching this right now, if you've never been on a Kohlcardz show, get your butt in there. He does every other Saturday. You'll figure it out. You have all of his contact information below. Make sure you're following him, bookmarking him. You will not regret it. It's one of the best shows on Whatnot, hands down. So, Stu, I can't thank you enough, buddy. What a great time. We'll obviously do this again. Have a great night.
Absolutely. You too.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. Take care.